Okay, this is Les Carlsen on Frontline Rewind, and today's show is with Jacob's Trouble. Remember, August 15th and 16th near Dallas, Georgia, which is just outside of Atlanta, in a church called Area 251 Real Life Church. It'll be Jacob's Trouble, and they're going to perform their entire first album, Door into Summer. Here we go. All right, guys, man, it is so cool to meet you over Skype.
Hey, this is fun. Is this the first Skype y'all done with one of the?
Yeah. This is first. You guys have always been on the cutting edge, so there you go. Once again,
21st century. This is great.
Yeah. So,
thanks for making time to come to let us ramble.
Yeah, you know what? I like to be just kind of spontaneous, and I got to tell you guys that I began to listen to the music this last week and kind of dig into some history and reading some things about you, because I never really, even though we were signed at to the same label, we never had a chance to interact and never really met you guys. And
just away from a lot of people.
Yeah, and even though I'm in a heavy metal band,
yes,
I was raised on Beatles and Stones, and so that was, and I actually like the Monkees as well. We don't tell the guys that Metal Mania that, but
all right.
But I like the Monkees, and
very punk rock.
Yeah, yes. So anyway, as I was just kind of exploring and checking you guys out, I just started to really like it, because we do have a lot of things in common in our likes and everything. And then, so here we are, and you guys are doing something August 15th and 16th.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
At the Area 251 Real Life Church.
Absolutely.
Mark, are you the pastor of that church?
I am, and I contacted these guys back in April and told them, hey, you realize this is the 25th anniversary of our first record.
Right.
And just kind of asked them, I said, well, would you guys be interested in trying to do something to just kind of commemorate the first album release? And 25 years is a lot of years to go by. We haven't seen each other
often. We've seen each other.
We see a little bit, but it's been 22 years since we've really kind of hung out. And
I see Mark every now and then shuffling by with his grocery card, and
I see.
Toss him a quarter.
Hey, there goes Mark. I used to be in a band with him.
It's like, hey, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry. What's up, man? Now, Jerry, you're also in music ministry, aren't you?
I am. I'm the creative arts pastor at Church of the Ridge in Douglasville, Georgia.
Okay. And Steve?
Well, I'm currently playing bass with a praise band in our church, Light Point,
okay,
in Marietta. It's actually part of Eastside Baptist Church, but anyway, it's just another faction.
So we've all kind of continued in different avenues of ministry. It's still, it's still what's closest to our hearts. That's what we function on. So.
Okay, it seems like you guys have got all your banter together, It's just like old times, right?
That's very strange how that works.
It really has been. The chemistry, man, just right as soon as we walked in the door, we were just laughing and cutting up, and all the old inside jokes came back, so it was a good time.
You mix water and dirt, you're going to get mud,
yes,
so that's the way it goes.
Yeah. I like that. Can I use that with the Blood Good guys? Yeah, I'm going to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, now, so the first album was Door into Summer.
Yeah.
And it was a monkey tune.
Yes.
Yeah, it was actually a tune that we used to play in concert. We had a couple covers, and as we were writing original material, as we got together back in 87 and 88, and so as we would play out, we would fill it in with covers, and Jerry was the one who brought that one in.
We only knew 5 songs, and they were ours, the ones that we wrote.
Right.
First started out, and so we were like, man, this is not going to fly. We need more than 5 songs. So we used to do The Byrds, Feel a Whole Lot Better.
Yeah.
And Door into Summer.
Beatles.
So we filled it out with a few covers, but.
Yeah. But you chose this one, Jerry. You guys chose this because of the message in it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. This I was a huge Monkees fan growing up. That was one of the main things that got me in music. I'm not ashamed to say it.
That's fine. You've done well too.
dissing on the Monkees.
You've done well, lad.
Yes, I inherited my older brothers and sisters' Beatles albums and Monkees albums and a few Led Zeppelin and Stones albums as well. I know the Monkees don't seem like they fit in that crowd, but good music is good music. And I'd watch the show on TV, and that song was only on a couple of times on the episodes, and it always just, boy, the sound of it just captured me. And then in the 80s, when they had the big resurgence on MTV, in the mid-80s, all of their albums became available again, and I bought it because I'd never been able to find that song. I always loved it, but never been able to find it. As I listened to the words, being a Christ follower, the words really struck me. I'm always looking for Jesus everywhere that he shows, and he's everywhere.
Yes, he is.
He made everything, so it shouldn't surprise us that he's everything, and he's in everything. So, but I heard and I thought of that scripture. I think we even put it in the liner notes about what is a man? Was a profit a man? He gains the whole world,
right,
loses his soul. And so that to me was the message of the song. You have a guy who he thinks he hears the echoes of of distant music and the carnival fanfare, and it's calling to him, but he's so wrapped up in what this world has to offer that he keeps turning away from it over and over again. And that really kind of struck a chord with me. So we began to do that song in the band.
Okay, well, that's cool. And then you came out to California and you met Jimmy and his family and everything, and the girls sang backup.
Yeah, they sang, what was the...
Man in the Mirror.
Belinda Carlisle song? What was popular?
It was Man in the Mirror.
Man in the Mirror.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, and then Terry messed it up, I hear.
Yeah, they were like, "Hey, mister, don't wreck it." He started trying to put all these effects on the voice and everything.
Yeah, don't wreck our song, man.
Yeah, we were tracking the album, and in comes this gaggle of like elementary school girls with Jimmy Kempner. He's like, "Shh, we'll just be
Summer and Bug Juice and all of them.
And, so
Kempner's
Terry,
kids.
he said, "You want to go out in the vocal booth and sing?" So they went out and sang. Well, and he recorded them to play back, and we didn't know that it was on that track. So when they left, and we went back to recording the song "Door into Summer," and that track was unmuted. And so right before the song kicks in, you hear those girls talking, and it sounded kind of cool to have kids' voices right before that. So we just left it on the record. But that's what that is.
Oh, I love those. Those are great stories, guys. All right, so as we told you about the girls that were in there and meeting Jimmy Kempner and meeting Terry Taylor and all that, here's the title track to
Door into Summer.
I hear your voice, Daddy.
Well, there's fool's gold stacked up all around him, from a killing in the market on the wall. The children left King Midas there as
All right, that was Door into Summer, Jacob's Trouble. And really, what I've seen is that you guys are troublemakers, actually. And that's
God bless you.
No, it's all lies. We're on the throne of lies, sir.
I mean, I don't mean what I mean in God's kingdom you're not, but in the world you're troublemakers because you're hitting people with the truth all the time.
Right. Yeah. You give the gospel, you're a troublemaker.
Yeah, you are. That's right. Okay, so what I want to do now was I was going to ask you about the Beatles song, doing the Beatles song. Tell me what you see. But I also
Jerry brought that one in too.
Jerry, you're bringing all these.
He's bringing in the cool covers here.
Yeah.
You know what? Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just had every Beatles album that I could ever get my hands on growing up. It was just, I just craved Beatles all the time. So I listened to that one. Oddly enough, it was never one of my all-time top favorites until I started looking for covers for the band to do, like Mark said, that had those grains and elements of truth in it. And one day I was listening through to that particular Beatles album, I believe it's Help, that has that one on it, and it came on, and the words just, I was like, oh, I got to bring this into the band because the words of this is like God speaking to us going, hey, taste and see that I'm good. If you let me take your heart, I'll prove to you. We'll never be apart if I'm part of you. I thought, oh man, that's just perfect.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to change a word of it. It was this beautiful kind of God wooing and romancing us into a relationship with himself. So I thought it was brilliant.
It's funny because we did a cover on our latest release. We did The Word.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Awesome. Hear that?
Yeah,
And the
me too.
realization that we came to in talking about it was that there were so many musicians influenced by the Beatles that became Christians.
Yeah.
There was this whole wave of us guys that picked up guitars and sang and started bands because of the Beatles.
Yeah.
And so in a way, even though the Beatles were not a Christian band, their talent was God-given talent.
Absolutely.
And they influenced the world in a way that was so, almost spiritual. And out of it came, tons of Christian artists today that were influenced by their talents. And so I can relate. And there were truths in some of those songs. They're very gifted lyricists.
Yeah.
And hey, praise God for the Beatles.
Yeah.
I gotta find your copy of The Word because I had a little project I was working on with Spotify. Are you familiar with Spotify?
Yes.
Software Spotify. Okay, so on my Spotify account, I created versions of certain Beatles albums that were all cover artists, but they were in the original running order.
Oh, wow.
Find those if you ever look me up on Spotify. I think my user is Jerry Cheryl Davison. Cheryl's my wife.
Yeah, okay.
But I have like Rubber Soul and Magical Mystery Tour and Sgt. Pepper. I'm talking.
Sorry.
Okay, so you guys, it's starting to come back what it's like 20
It's very
years ago.
difficult to find copies of bands that did a cover of The Word. So I'm glad that you're out there.
And it's always fun to find songs that have truth, whether the actual writer knew the source of that truth or not.
Yeah.
And so it's always fun to find that nugget of truth. We don't go in and try to change the lyrics to purify the song or to change it around to make it work. Use what the writer did. Neil Young wrote lots of songs like that. There's a lot of truth in his songs, whether he knows the source of that truth or not.
Right.
And that was kind of the finding out different covers to do is like, what source of truth can we maybe come from a different perspective on and let people know. We're not trying to change it or to do anything with it other than just listen to it from this perspective.
Yeah, and all of that God-given talent was God-given talent. They just don't know,
Absolutely.
like you say, where it came from.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
So this is Tell Me What You See.
Tell me what you hear.
Tell me what you say. Tell Me What You See by...
The Beatles.
No, it's Jacob's Trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Take your heart, I will prove to you we will never be apart if I'm part of you. Open up your eyes now, tell me your heart, I will prove to you we will never be apart if I'm part of you. Open up your eyes now. Tell me what you see. It is no surprise now. What you see is me. What you see is me. What you see is me. Tell me what you see. Open up your eyes. Tell me what you see. Open up your eyes. Tell me what you see. Open up your eyes. Tell me what you see. Open up your eyes.
All right, so this radio show is really produced by Frontline Records, right, Adele?
Yes, and you can find all of the music by
Yeah.
Frontline Records artists and a copy of all of these shows on frontlinerecords.us.
So that would be frontlinerecords.us.
Correct.
If you go online and you type that in,
Yes.
you're going to be brought directly to the front door of Frontline Records.
.us.
Wow.
SSS.
SS.
To give one
Wow,
of
you
Les's
can-
sound effects.
You can do effects too. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You live your life trapped in a maze, just feeling your way around this place. Just when you think you found the prize, what once was truth is only lies. There's someone there to calm your doubts. All for you, it's all for you, all for you. But don't you see it's just no good? I've done all I can and what I could. There's things that I just can't let slide, but this emptiness I just can't hide. Can you believe what you've been told? No, it's all for you, all for you, all for you. It's not a game of win or lose. Who you portray or who you choose, the fact won't change if you don't decide. Because a man of love was still crucified. Can't you see the writing on the wall? When pride comes along before a fall, accept, reject, you make that call. Oh, it's all for you, all for you, all for you. It's all for you.
and now and it always seemed that everything that I read about you guys in your little comments about Terry Taylor, that was always kind of humorous to me because Terry is just,
What have you heard about Terry?
yeah, I mean, I've met Terry. I did one thing with Terry with Tourniquet. I sang Messiah, a song I wrote, and they covered it, and Terry was the guy in there producing that.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah, so I think he referred to me as Tinkerbell or something. I don't really know what that meant, you know. Good thing I'm not insecure.
Yeah.
I wasn't wearing a tutu. I don't know.
Terry was a hero of ours, and I had come into Christian music largely through the doorway of Daniel Amos.
Yeah.
There was a radio show that used to come on in Atlanta on Sunday mornings. I think it was called Sunrise. It was from the college station. So there was this girl who would get up at the crack, Laura Bell, that's right, on Sunrise on album 88. It was the college station. So that was where I first heard a lot of Christian music. I even heard that there was such a thing as Christian rock. It was like mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
So I would tape it with my little cassette tape. I had to go to church, so I would tape it and leave the tape running. And I'd come home from church and rewind it and listen to everything. And I heard Horrendous Disc, the album I Love You Number 19, and some of the songs off of that. And that was one of the bands that I went out, and there was a little record store in the suburbs of Atlanta called Sound Principle. And they were known for having the best selection of the alternative Christian rock or the harder Christian rock stuff. And it wasn't all Amy Grant and Sandy Patty, you know. Find it at all the other Christian bookstores. So they actually had a cool selection. And I went out and I hunted that album down. And then from the moment I first heard it, I felt like, oh, now there's a guy doing it right, man. Because he's got the brilliant songwriting. He's got the intelligent lyrics. They had the packaging and the look of the band and everything. Exactly, you know, what I was looking for. And so for a long time, I just kind of idolized Terry Taylor as a songwriting hero, as a music hero. And when they signed us to Frontline and told us that Terry would be our producer, it was like a dream come true.
Beautiful.
To work with this guy. You know, and he is still a great influence and a great mentor in my life.
Yeah. Now, how did you guys get hooked up with Frontline? How did that come about?
I worked at a record store. That was my day gig. I was assistant manager at the Record Bar in Town Center Mall in Kennesaw, Georgia. And we had recorded this little demo tape. And I used to play it over the sound system. You know, being in management, I got to pick what music played over the speakers. And so I would throw our music in the mix. And people would come in and go, who's that band? And I'd say, oh, that's a local band called Jacob's Trouble. I wouldn't tell them that I was in it because I wanted an honest reaction from them. So, and I got them, and most of them it was positive. A few people would go, that stinks, you know. And I go, well, I'll let them know.
I'll let them know.
But anyway, my manager, we started to sell him. I'd bring him in on consignment, and we started outselling popular bands like Bon Jovi and U2 at that particular location. And so my manager at the time sent it to the buyer for Christian music for the whole chain. And she really liked it, and she knew the guys from Frontline. We stocked and carried all the Frontline bands. And so she sent it on to Frontline. In Nashville, the Frontline Nashville office. And a couple of guys from the Nashville office drove down and saw us play. And then we got a call out of the blue and to come to California and talk about a record contract.
Early 1989.
Yeah, who called you? Do you recall?
No, I think it was either Kent Songer or Mike McLean.
Okay.
It might have even been Brian Tong, one of those guys.
Ground control to Brian Tong. Oh, yeah.
I remember
That's another thing. I'm sorry.
Yes, that's funny.
Okay, well, once again, here's Jacob's Trouble doing
Awfully familiar.
Faster, round and round, it never stops. just like it was in Noah's day. Compassion gets lost in the haze. Something seems awfully familiar about this scene. I've seen this place before. Was it in a dream? Is it just me? Do you see it too? Coincidence or deja vu? Something seems awfully familiar about this scene. Prophecies like jigsaw puzzle pieces, one by one, fall into place. History may often be repeated, but it can not be erased. Battle lines are clearly drawn. The question is, which side will we be on? Something seems awfully familiar about this scene. I've seen this place before. Was it in a dream? Is it just me? Do you see it too? Coincidence or deja vu? Something seems awfully familiar about this scene. About this scene. Descending down, down, it never stops. Lightning quick, beginning without ending. I feel one raindrop. We'll build an ark like Noah's day, and when the rain comes down, we'll sail away. Something seems awfully familiar about this scene. I've seen this place before. Was it in a dream? Is it just me? Do you see it too? Coincidence or deja vu? Something seems awfully familiar about this scene. 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 About this. About this. About this. About this.
All right. This show is brought to you by Frontline Records.
Yes, and all of the music
Yes.
by all of the Frontline Records artists
Yes, yes.
can be found on frontlinerecords.us.
Frontlinerecords.us? Wow. Go for it.
I needed wisdom on a matter of face, so I facts till I heard the voice of Jesus telling me to relax and let go. I'll take control. It was tough at first, but I obeyed. I just went limp and then I prayed, please Jesus, save me from this open grave. I bend and wave to and fro, back and forth, stop and go, lost in doubt. Am I out or am I safe? Fire and ice, land and sea, it's up to you, it's down to me. Will I be eternally weak and fade? Now I'm not saying that I will never doubt again, 'cause after all I'm just a man. Yeah, yeah. All I know is if I should doubt again, he'll understand. He understands.
We're here with Jacob's Trouble. Hi, guys.
Hi, Les.
We're back. Once again, you guys are together to do this. Is it a benefit for the church or?
Yes.
August 15th and 16th?
We hope so. These guys have graciously given a lot of their time to trying to remember how to play these songs. Yeah. And they've come, and it is a benefit for the church. It's to kind of help give the church a little bit more margin in our finances. And,
cool.
With us being in Dallas, we you can't throw a rock without hitting a church. But you know what? There's a lot of people that need to hear the gospel, and so we're excited that God's given us a place here in downtown to be able to play a part of His story. And so these guys have come in, and I kind of talked them in. I said, this is a very selfish thing I want to do. I want all the money to come to me to help this ministry. And they were like, okay. we also wanted to bring in Eric and Nathan and Daryl and just kind of keep it in the family and just make it one of those kind of events that, you know, fans who kind of still stuck with us over the last few years would, you know, get a chance to see us again and to play again. Because we have gone on and to do, you know, day jobs now and do other things.
Sure.
It's been fun getting back together to learn these songs and kind of pick them apart and figure out, you know, what did we play? You know, how did we play this? What idiot wrote that? Yeah.
You know, and that's really a great testimony in itself. Having your children up there playing with you,
Yeah.
it just you know what the world doesn't get about Jesus is that it's so good in the small things, the little blessings in life. That's where the wealth is, and you guys are living it. I'm really fired up for what's going on with you. Just the reunion of you guys together, and I can just feel the vibe. It's so cool. I'm so happy to meet you over Skype.
Well, we're glad that you guys were able to set this up. I just
Yeah.
thought this would be a great way to do this. Phone interviews kind of get a little impersonal, but being able to, look in your eyes. And
Yeah.
Les, can I say something too?
Yes.
One thing, Mark is very humble and modest and will downplay it. But when we say we're doing a benefit for the work that he's doing, the church that Mark pastors is very out of the box. It's very different from any church I've ever seen or experienced. And they're very strategically located in an area of the suburbs, the urban sprawl of Atlanta, where there's a lot of disenfranchised and people who kind of live on the edge and people who really need to see some hope and see some reality. The work that Mark does here is so unique. Bands come in, a lot of Christian, he had a Lost Dogs in, had the 77s just in, and he exposes this area to a lot of great music, and then he uses that as a platform to invite them back to the church, to build relationships with the people in the area. And they're very involved in helping this community. So I don't want to miss this opportunity to say that this money is not just to benefit Mark financially, is to pour into, to make it possible to do what he's doing. A lot of people don't realize how difficult it is for a church plant, especially one that's outside the mainstream, to be sustainable. And so that's what we're excited about is hopefully helping Mark be able to keep what he's started here going and keep the gospel flowing out into this area.
Yeah, this area is a very crime-infested, drug-infested area, and there's very real people.
Yeah.
That, they don't want to hear. A lot of times, they don't want to hear religion, and they don't want to. They have very real problems, and they can very much see through you if you're being real with them or if you're just playing a game with them.
Yeah.
They don't speak Christianese either.
Yeah, so it has been. We're kind of known as the hippie church. When people ask people who come here, what church do you go to? Real life? Oh, that hippie church. Yeah. Well, I'm happy with whatever label they want to put on it, but they are going to know that they have a need for a savior, and that's the reason why we do this. Is no other reason to put a church together if you don't have a heart for lost people, and that's the key. And these guys have given up a lot of time and have put a lot of effort into making this a very special night. We have people coming from out of state. We've put up a system to where people can purchase tickets as part of donating to the church, just to make sure that we can guarantee that people get in. So we have a lot of folks traveling many states to come see us, and so that's exciting that there's people that are willing to arrange their schedules to come see us. And so a lot of this goes to these guys putting in a lot of effort. And,
wow. Well, that's.
I don't think either. I'll have deodorant. Both of us.
That's good. I mean, that's God's heart for the lost people.
This is a song called Million Miles. I actually wrote this in my car.
Imagine that.
I like this. I like this song.
I wrote it in my car just driving around. I didn't have a stereo that worked, so I would make up songs. I was actually very prolific during that period when I couldn't listen to music except for what was in my head. Yeah. And so I just had this chorus. I'd go a million miles out of my way for you. Actually, I think I had gotten off the wrong exit and had to turn and go all the way back around, and it kind of grew into a song.
Anything you wanted me to do.
it's really funny because when I was listening on the album, I was going, now which song is the Monkees song? And I actually thought, because I didn't really see who wrote what, and I guessed that Million Miles was the Monkees song. And I actually imagined in my mind that I thought I actually saw it on one of their shows, but that's not true at all, Les.
That's a high compliment.
Thank you for the compliment.
But
Yeah.
that's what I thought, and then I looked it up and realized, oh, well, it's Door into Summer is the one they did. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah,
I could think if I could close my eyes and picture the Monkees running around really fast to it, then it was a good song. So.
yeah. I mean, really, I thought, oh yeah, I remember that show. Like, yeah, Les, you live in a dream state, bro. Okay. All right. So now, also, I have a question about who this the Church of Do What You Want To. That was like your first hit.
Yes.
We had a hit.
We did.
It was like it was a hit. Are we playing baseball? And but I have a question, and I don't have the answer to it, so I'm going to ask you. Who did the thing? Who did the little voicemail at the top of it? How did that?
Fun story.
Yeah.
Tell it, Steve.
Oh, well, we were in the studio, obviously, and Gene Eugene had called his home to check his answer machine. And he just, as he sat there, got his phone to the ear, and he just bust out laughing. We're like, all right, what's up, Gene? He's like, man, listen to this. And so he played it back, and Dan Michaels from the choir had broken in to his house and erased his message and put that up. And so we kind of a little bit and used it, thought it was hilarious. So we figured we'd share it with the world. Well, at least to a record.
Rudy Toot Toot.
That's funny, Rudy Toot Toot. And so here you have Church of Do What You Want to Do.
Diddly stat, pooh, hit cat. Leave your message. A Rudy toot toot. Root toot toot.
Are you tired of religions that only seem to bring you like spiritual faux pas. I know something's wrong, but frankly, I am having too much fun. At the church up, do what you want to. 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 Church up.
So again, I'd like to say, guys, you know, I was just really moved by this whole thing. I'm praying for the event. The event is August 15th and 16th. It's going to be Jacob's Trouble with a bunch of troublemakers, which are your fans,
Absolutely.
your family, your sons are playing as well with you. Are there any daughters playing in the band?
Steve's daughter wants to play bass, but he won't.
Well, then what's Steve going to play?
Yeah, really.
Well, I don't know. You guys talk about that off the air.
Wants to play more cowbell.
More cowbell.
Okay, that's good. Just stay in the pocket.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, once again, Jacob's Trouble. You guys are the bomb, man. I love you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Les.
Les.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
waiting for the sun. No more waiting.
So once again, it's Jacob's Trouble performing Door into Summer, August 15th and 16th near Dallas, Georgia, which is just outside of Atlanta, in a church called Area 251 Real Life Church. Be there.
Frontline Records.